thank you very much. That was Tropical Clinics. And you being here is really a testament to what we can do to support a lot of people in rural Kenya and in rural Africa in general. So thank you very much for coming and to hear our story of what we are doing. We are doing a small part. But we believe, I forget who said that if every person who does a small part leads to a bigger impact later on. And so that's what we are doing. And our part is to really set up this treatment center and help a lot of women from dying during childbirth and prevent a lot of children from dying from preventive diseases and malnutrition. We really want to help build the next generation of women and children who actually are healthy so they can support themselves. So thank you very much for coming.
Well, and I'd like to add my thanks because I traveled to Africa for the first time in 2002. And it was a life-changing experience for me because honestly, I had no idea what to expect. It's a strange place. It's a different place. It's a place where, what do I know about Africa? Let's see, what have I seen on National Geographic? There must be lions and tigers and hippopotamus. And when I arrived the first time in 2002, and let me just, you know what I want to do is, I recognize being in business that I'm standing in a bad spot. I want to be close to you, and yet I'm standing out of the light. That's the comfort zone. I know that over here is comfortable, but here at least there's some light. Okay? And what's what I'd like to do is shed a little bit of light on why we're here, why I'm doing this, and why Margaret's doing this. I'll try not to be too long, but it involves a little bit of background. I went to Uganda, as I said, in 2002, and expecting it to be different. And what I discovered was people. I discovered that the people that I met were so much like me, and we had so much in common. We shared a lot of the same things. We shared the same beliefs. We shared the same hopes and dreams. People want to be healthy. They want to have a productive life, a good job, something that makes them happy. They want their children to be educated. They want to have the kind of world that they know they're going to be safe and they're going to be healthy and have enough to eat. And they won't become sick. And we shared so much in common. I realized I felt very much at home because I felt like I was part of the family, as it were. And you know, you think back thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, however long it is ago, we kind of all came from one place, from one large family. We're all related. No matter the color of our skin or whatever we think, we are all ultimately connected. And I think that what I discovered was that connection. I was approached the first time I went by two young girls. They were 14 and 15. Jane was 15, Olivia was 14. And they kind of shyly approached me and said, would you be willing to sponsor us in school? I said, let me think about it. Okay, let me think about it. I'll get back to you. And I was there for close to 3 weeks. By the time the third week had gone by, I did a little research and I discovered that if I can sponsor them in school, the objective is their parents were ready to marry them off. Their parents had decided that at the age of 14 and 15, it was high time that they got married, and if they didn't have any other prospects, they certainly couldn't afford to put them to school, they should become married women and have children. And their families might get a cow or 2 cows or some goats or some chickens or maybe a combination. And it would be good. Everybody would be happy. Yeah. Except for Jane and Olivia. So I also discovered that for less than $1 a day, I could pay for that education. Room, board, tuition, books. I said, okay, I'll go out on a limb, and I agreed. I would take them on and sponsor them. I'll do it for 1 year. Well, he went through high school, and graduated high school, and did really well. In the meantime, I met other people. As I kept going back year after year, and as I met other people, I got to know them and got to like them. Somebody would introduce me to somebody else, and I ultimately sponsored other people. But Jane and Olivia were my first two. They were everything at the beginning. And now, last year, Jane graduated as a nurse from, Jane graduated, she wanted to go as a nurse, to be educated as a nurse. She changed her mind and said, can I be a dentist? Why not? I said, if you get accepted to dental school, go for it. And she did, and I paid for her tuition in dental school. And Olivia, being a little bit younger, took an extra year to get through high school. But when she got through high school, she wanted to go to the university. I said, yes, if you're going to get accepted, I'll pay for your tuition. I didn't know how much it was going to cost. It's a little bit more expensive than I would have hoped. But it was still manageable, and I could still do it. And it's honestly, I'm still paying for my daughter's tuition education here. But I'm keeping up with that one. That's manageable. It's not that much. So then I wanted to tell you about Betty. This is kind of where I wanted to go. And since as I'm going to walk away from you, I will take this so I don't have to quite shout. Okay, just to make it a little easier. And I'm sorry, Chris, I didn't think about this until now. Okay, good. So I want to walk back here, and I want to show you a couple pictures. You can come take a look at them later on. This is Betty. Betty is a nurse. Let's quickly introduce you. This is also Betty here. This is Flavia. Flavia is studying law at Nkumba University on a scholarship from us. This is Jane. Jane is a dentist, who I mentioned. And here she is examining a patient. And this is Olivia. And Olivia is studying at Nkumba University at the moment. So I wanted to tell you about Betty because I met Betty on the second trip, I think it was. Must have been 2003 at that point. Betty was working as a housekeeper at the parish, the local parish, and she was earning about $16 a month. And even in Uganda, it's kind of hard to live on $16 a month. I know it was really stretching her pretty thin. The problem was that they couldn't pay her every month because there wasn't always enough money in the collection plate. So there'd be months when she didn't have enough. And it was a kind of a hard struggle for her. So she was a wonderful cook and housekeeper while I was there, and I got to know her a little bit and the other people that were working there. The following year when I came back, she had left. And I was curious where she'd gone, so I tracked her down to Kampala, which is a capital city. And I went to visit her, and she was at the convent. She was staying with the sisters there, and she was cleaning their house for about, how much? $16 a month. Again. She had a place to sleep, some food to eat, but it really wasn't what she wanted to do. And so I asked her, Betty, what would you really like to be doing with your life? I knew she had good grades in school, and she said, I would really, really like to be a nurse. I said, okay. I didn't know at the time what nursing school would cost, but I asked the Mother Superior if she was a candidate. The Mother Superior said, of course. Yes, she had good grades. She would qualify for the program. So I went back to Betty. I said, okay, you apply, and if you're accepted, we'll fund your education. And she applied. And she graduated last year with honors. She's working at a clinic right now. I placed her and Jane in the same clinic. And she's working, she's the only qualified surgical OR nurse. She was trained as they call it theater assistant for the operating theater, but she's doing everything. She's doing the nursing and all. She's the only one that they have. They got 2 doctors. Excuse me, that's not true. They got 3 doctors. There's a husband and wife team,
which are the two, and there's another doctor. But she's on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, doing all of the things that need to be done to keep the OR running and to keep patients healthy, and the equipment sterilized, and she prepares the medicines, and she prepares the anesthesia. She doesn't do the anesthesia, but she prepares, for the local anesthesias, so she really is doing a wonderful job, and people love her. People love Jane too. I mean, you think about the lives that they touch and the impact that they're having in their community and the role models that they are. It's just amazing. So, I mean, there's a lot of stories I could tell you. I went back in January, I took the girls on a trip, and we went on this retreat up into the mountains, and we climbed up to the top of the mountain and looked down from where the waterfall was coming down. It was very cool. We had a great time. And I could tell you more stories, but, I don't want to go on forever and ever. So if you want to know more about them, I could tell you about Betty's house. This is where Betty grew up. This is the house. This is her family, her mom and her brothers. Her father died just before I arrived. It was about a week before I arrived. Her father passed away from malaria. And I'll just tell you one final story. The village is called Wakakoli, and it's about in 2.5 hours north of Kampala, and then about another half an hour, 45 minutes on a motorcycle to get to Wakakoli. And we went out to Wakakoli to visit her family because she had just graduated, and I wanted to meet her mom and say hi to the family. So we loaded up the motorcycle with, a bag of rice and a bag of cornmeal and, some other supplies and some other shopping we had done. And we actually took 2 motorcycles, and we all went out. And Hannah was with me. Hannah's back here. Hannah's going to be coming to see you in a few minutes. But Hannah was with me. Her picture's up there on the wall, on the curved wall. And she got to meet Betty's family and her Jaja. That's Hannah sitting with Jaja and Betty. And Betty's house, just the quick story, was Betty's house. Betty had called me, because this was the house that they had lived in. Betty had called me while she was still in school, and she said, Tata Jim, she said, I've got a problem. I have to go home. I need to go back to the village. I said, what's wrong? She said, the rains came and my father's house washed away. And I need to go help them. I said, what do you need? And she said, well, they've got no place to stay. And I said to her, well, will the neighbors help you build a house? And she said, yeah, the neighbors I think would help. I says, okay, if you can get the neighbors to help, I'll buy the bricks and I'll buy the cement. And I spent about $250. And they've got this they built this really, she's standing in front of it, this really nice house out of brick now. It's not going to fall down. And the neighbors helped. They all pitched in. It was nice. But when Betty got her first paycheck, and then she graduated, she got her first paycheck, and she was in tears when she called me. She didn't know what to say. She said, what am I supposed to do with all this money? She's earning $200 a month as a salary. And she said, what am I supposed to, she said, can I help my mom? I said, yeah. So when I look at them and I think about, we had some really good times when I was there in January, and the lives that they're touching, the number of people that they are impacting, it really makes it worth every minute that I've put into it. And I couldn't do it alone, so I want to thank all of you who helped me. And this is kind of what Margaret and I have in common. It's about trying to do little things that are easy to do, that help people to help themselves. It's empowerment. It's about empowerment. And if you look around, there's so many problems here. I'm involved with the soup kitchen. Dennis is our executive director from the Trenton Area Soup Kitchen. people need, it's a difficult world. People need help. The good thing is that here we have some safety net. We have the soup kitchen. We have the rescue mission. But if you're hungry in Uganda and you don't have family to support you, you're hungry. And so what we're trying to do is to build this, my girls are now connected. They know that they can call each other and they can depend on each other. They came from different tribes, from different parts of the country. They didn't know each other until I introduced them. But now they know each other, and now they have somebody to call. And they know that they have people who care about them. And they're doing powerful things. And it's so easy. It's just a small amount of money, but you can change the world. You really can. It's amazing what you can do with just a little bit of effort. And, it's like I say, less than $1 will buy a dose of medicine that may cure a child of malaria. Then they'll get reinfected, and they'll need it again. But without that dollar, it doesn't take much. And I think right now that we got rid of malaria here 50 years ago, I guess. Maybe more. But it's still there. We probably use DDT or something lousy to do it too. I don't know. But so I don't know. I don't have all the answers, that's for sure. Got a lot of questions, but I don't have all the answers. But thank you very much. And please ask questions, and please talk to Margaret and talk to me. And thank you very much for coming, and thank you very much for supporting.